So have you ever, looked back at your career path and just realized, wow, that took some unexpected turns?
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time.
Maybe you knew exactly what you wanted way back, but then, well, life happens. Maybe someone gently nudged you somewhere else.
That's a really common experience.
Well, today we're actually going to dive into a story just like that. It's about someone, we'll call them P,
Hmm.
who had this real, genuine passion for programming really early on.
Okay.
But they kind of got steered in a different direction, partly because of advice, partly the education system. But the interesting thing is they eventually found their way back.
Ah, the full circle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great look at how, our early interests, family influence, those small decisions,
Yeah.
how they really shape things. Our source here is an interview Chelsea did with P.
And what's really insightful, I think, is how this one person's story lets us look at bigger themes.
Right.
Decision-making at those key moments, especially that tension between what parents expect and what you feel passionate about. And all this happening against the backdrop of tech changing so fast, plus a very specific education system.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding P's journey gives us, I think, some broader clues about navigating these choices and how paths chosen can really play out over years.
Okay, so that's our mission then. Let's dig into P's experience, pull out some key nuggets. How do you navigate these choices when the path isn't obvious? And really think about the long-term impact of what seemed like small things at the time.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's unpack this right from the beginning.
Okay.
Childhood. Chelsea's interview makes it super clear. P had this very genuine early interest in programming.
Okay.
Like specifically wanted to write code to make video games. And P was really clear this wasn't just like a phase, not superficial. P used this great Chinese idiom, the guy who says he loves dragons but freaks out when he sees one. P said it wasn't like that. This was real.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Identifying that genuine interest early on, that's powerful.
How so?
Well, when someone feels that intrinsic pull, that deep enjoyment,
Right.
it's like an internal compass. It's incredibly resilient.
Right.
So even when things push you off course, detours happen, external pressures build, that deep passion often finds a way to bubble back up, to reorient you. We'll definitely see that with P.
Okay, speaking of pressures, let's jump to high school. This is around 2009 in Yingkou, a smaller city, northeast China.
Okay.
And P really paints this picture of the Goyang mentality, the little town test taker.
Ah, yes, I know the term, the Gaokao focus.
Exactly. The Gaokao, the huge college entrance exam, was seen as pretty much the path, especially in smaller places. And the schedule P described, intense, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day,
Wow.
with maybe half a day off or a full day every other week. It sounds just all-consuming.
It really does. And what's also revealing from P's experience is how this interacted with a specific policy, the
Yeah.
chore or burden reduction policy.
Right. I remember P mentioning that it was meant to ease the pressure,
Yeah.
like banning evening self-study sessions run by the school.
Exactly. But the effect, or rather, the unintended consequence P described, it didn't necessarily reduce the workload.
Oh.
It often just shifted it. Parents, still feeling that intense Gaokao pressure, kind of stepped into the gap.
So P's parents arranged evening study sessions themselves.
That's what P said. They supervised it. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How these big systemic policies play out against individual family pressures on the ground?
Yeah, the pressure doesn't just disappear. It finds another outlet.
Precisely.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Despite all that intense focus, P actually had a very clear idea for university. Wanted to study software engineering or computer science. Straight up.
Okay, so P knew what they wanted?
Totally.
Good.
But the path took a turn. And not just because of exam scores, but because of P's father.
Ah, the parental influence.
Yeah, P described him as an old-school software engineer himself, which kind of hints at his perspective, right?
Definitely. Shaped by his own time in the field. And what was his take?
Well, this is the fascinating part. He advised P against a pure software major.
Really? Against it? Why?
His reasoning was that it was tiring and illusory, was the phrase P used, like insubstantial.
Illusory. Huh. What did he mean by that?
He argued that software knowledge changes so fast it gets outdated quickly. Your past experience might not even help much, whereas hardware experience, he felt, builds up over time. It accumulates value.
That's a classic sort of generational perspective, maybe.
Yeah.
Or based on his specific experience back then. Hardware versus software value accumulation.
It makes you wonder, though, right? In today's world, does that still hold any water? Or is the agility of software now seen as the key thing?
That's the million-dollar question. But back then, his advice had a real impact.
Huge impact. P didn't go for software engineering, ended up in electronic information engineering, communications, basically.
Okay, so more of a bridge between hardware and software, signal systems.
Exactly. The soft-hard combination the father suggested. And it was in the computer science department of a university in Hefei, so maybe it felt like a compromise.
Possibly. Still related, but not the core passion.
Right. And adding another layer, this wasn't even P's top choice university. Missed the preferred one by a single point on the Gaokao.
Ouch. 1 point.
Yeah. And apparently, it was the very first year they used this new parallel application system in China, which was meant to give students more choices.
But in its first year, it probably made predicting cutoff scores really tricky.
Exactly. P said it caused a real scramble. So a combination of the dad's advice and that 1 point near miss.
Wow. It really shows how these big systems, parental advice, how they steer individual paths, even well-intentioned advice, based on past experience, might not align with where things are heading or what someone truly loves.
Definitely. So P's in university now, studying electronic information engineering. Given that early coding passion, how long before
Yeah.
the mismatch started to show?
Good question. What did P say?
Well, the first year was apparently okay. Lots of general courses, math, physics, philosophy. P said the high school momentum just carried them through.
Makes sense. Still in study mode.
But then, sophomore, junior year, the really specialized stuff starts. Communication principles, signal systems, complex variables.
Ah, the core major subjects.
Right. And that's when P had this really clear thought, okay, this is not what I want to learn.
That feeling of disconnect, I think a lot of people experience that in structured education when the path feels assigned rather than chosen.
Sure, your mind's in the lecture hall, but your heart's just not in it.
So P's feeling that quite strongly by junior year. Was there a turning point, something that reignited the original spark?
Yes, absolutely. A big one. Sophomore year, P joined a lab, a RoboCup lab.
RoboCup, like robot soccer.
Exactly. And specifically, P was in the 3D simulation group, which, P explained, was pure software, programming the robot's decisions, their coordination strategy, all in a virtual simulation.
Ah, okay. So back to coding, but in a practical, applied way.
Totally. And P said they played quite well, really enjoyed it, even earned 500 RMB leading a team for a competition in senior year. It was clearly a huge deal for P.
That makes perfect sense. Those extracurriculars, those passion projects, they can be so much more revealing than the formal coursework sometimes.
Right.
It's like a low-stakes way to test your real interests. And it sounds like for P, this lab experience really reaffirmed that love for programming, despite the official major.
Yeah. And there was another influence in the lab, too, a senior student.
Oh.
This senior lab mate was really determined to go abroad for grad school. His dream was to work for Google.
Seeing someone else with that clear ambition, that can be really infectious.
Definitely planted a seed.
Yeah.
Because P ultimately did decide to pursue grad studies abroad. Heavily influenced, P said, by that senior lab mate.
And the family was supportive. Going abroad is a big step.
Yeah, P mentioned the family backed the move, financially and emotionally, which is huge.
Absolutely.
And so here's the payoff. Grad school. P finally got to study computer science.
The original goal?
As P put it, finally achieved my dream.
That's fantastic. It really speaks to the resilience of that internal drive, doesn't it? The detour might have even made the eventual arrival more meaningful.
Yeah, maybe strengthened the conviction.
Could be. The struggle clarified the desire. It wasn't just handed over, it was earned back.
So let's bring it to today. P is now a software engineer, lives in New Jersey.
Okay. Found the path.
Found the path. And describes current work life as, well, boring was the word used in terms of the routine.
Boring, but is it fulfilling?
Yes. That's the paradox. Boring routine work weekdays, chores, and socializing weekends, but fulfilling. Enjoys the work itself, about 40 hours a week, flexible schedule, sometimes leaves early to walk the dog, still finds programming interesting, enjoys dealing with machines, and notes it's a good field for jobs in the U.S.
That idea of boring but fulfilling is really interesting. It challenges the notion that passion has to be constant excitement.
How do you mean?
Well, maybe boring in this context means stability, predictability, a certain level of mastery where things aren't constantly chaotic. Ah, okay. Less firefighting, more flow.
Exactly. And that kind of routine, that competence, it can free up mental energy for life outside work, like walking the dog. It's maybe more sustainable kind of satisfaction.
A sustainable passion. I like that. It fits P's description of finding the work itself genuinely interesting.
Right. It seems like P found a really good alignment between passion and profession.
Okay, so let's shift gears slightly. The time machine question. If P could go back, talk to their high school self, what advice would they give?
Ooh, I'm curious about this one. After that whole journey.
It's surprisingly specific and really practical, not what I expected.
Yeah, okay.
P said they'd tell their high school self, diligently practice English listening.
English listening, not stick to your guns about software or something.
No, English listening. The
Yeah.
reason, in P's province, the Gaokao English test had a listening section, but the score didn't count towards the final grade.
Ah, a loophole. So
Yeah.
students probably didn't take it seriously. Exactly. P said many students, probably P included, use that listening time to work on their essays instead, to maximize the points that did count.
Strategic in the short term.
But it created what P called their biggest shortcoming later. When it came time to prepare for the TOEFL exam needed for U.S. grad schools, that listening skill was weak.
And P regretted how hard it was to improve it later
Yeah.
in college.
Said it was much harder without that intense, focused, serious study atmosphere of high school where everyone was grinding. Trying to self-study listening in college just wasn't the same.
Wow. That's such a concrete example of how a seemingly small decision or a strategic workaround for an immediate goal
Right.
can have these really significant, unforeseen ripple effects years down the line. Sacrificing that non-counted skill created a major hurdle for the grad school dream later.
It really makes you think about preparing for an unknown future. What small things might actually matter a lot.
It's a powerful lesson in unintended consequences.
So, wrapping up P's story then, it's a fantastic journey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Early spark, the detour driven by family advice and the system,
Mm-hmm.
that university disconnect, but then the crucial rediscovery through the RoboCup lab.
Hands-on experience.
And finally getting back to CS and finding that fulfilling, if boringly routine, career.
Yeah.
It really drives home that paths aren't always straight.
Not at all. And sometimes those detours, frustrating as they are, maybe they deepen your understanding of what you really want.
Yeah, you appreciate it more when you finally get there.
Exactly. And while it's just one person's story, it offers so many insights. Navigating choices, family influence, the power of that persistent passion.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that finding fulfillment often means questioning things, considering different views, and trusting that inner drive, even if it takes you the long way around.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to take away from P's experience.
Yeah.
What seemingly insignificant skill or subject might you be neglecting today? Thinking, it won't really matter. But maybe, just maybe, it could become a key advantage or a real bottleneck later on.
What might your future time machine self tell you to focus on right now?
Something to think about. We'll leave you with that.